Hello and welcome to the Hoop Show Monday edition. That's right, it's Monday, it's not Sunday. It's Monday the 22nd of May. I wasn't feeling too crash hot on Sunday night, so I put the show off. And it is just me again, unfortunately, for various reasons. But we'll try and get the panel up and going again soon if we can. But yes, my name is Ben Reeve. Thank you for joining me on the show. Geelong, 2 losses in a row. All right, so Geelong suffered second consecutive defeat, second in a row against Freo in front of the Dockers, 106-77, in front of a crowd of 100. No, thank God it wasn't 100. In front of a crowd of 45,000 people at Perth Stadium. Injury-ravaged Cats. We were brave at times, I suppose, but we lacked cohesion, lacked composure. Freo, credit to them, they were spurred on by a local crowd. They were just more one-eyed than any crowd you've ever come across, probably other than West Coast, I'm guessing. They had a terrific 4 quarters. They won their 3rd game in a row now, and they're on the cusp of the 8. So don't know if they're a finals team just yet. Winning 3 games in a row is pretty impressive, but you probably need to win a few more to convince me at this point in time. But they're doing okay. Oh my God, though. It never looked like we were in the running at all at any point in that game. I don't know. We ended the quarter with the 2-point lead, but I don't think any of us really felt confident. And I think even after the siren at the first quarter, Freo was still lining up for a goal. Thankfully, they missed. But yeah, we could have lost all 4 quarters. So it wasn't really the game to look back on in years to come. I think that was fantastic. But we need to acknowledge the fact that we are missing lots of players, lots of really important players, clearly not as much as West Coast, and we'll come to that later on when we go around the grounds. But other than West Coast, we are absolutely getting smashed. So they talk about premierships being back-to-back premierships being hard to win. Bloody hell, it doesn't help when you get all these injuries. Whether or not we would have had a chance if we had a full list, it's hard to know. Whether it was to be expected with such an old side that you're going to get a lot of these injuries. Clearly some of these have been impact injuries, and you can't do much about that. The DeConning one I'm thinking of, and there's probably a couple others. But yeah, your little hamstrings, your eye sockets and all that. I mean, you saw your soft tissue ones and calves and whatnot. I think Jack Bowes did the calf, didn't he? So he's not that old. He's 24 though. But these things seem to be happening a lot, and it should be expected, I'm guessing. As an older side, you should expect the odd collision injury throughout the year as well. But, on the plus side, we've got a couple of guys that haven't played much footy, and Sam Simpson's one that comes to mind. So he's missed the last couple of years. So it swings and roundabouts a little bit, but it's really killing us at the moment. And the thing that worries me the most is, has the damage been done for 2023? Can we turn it around even when we get the players back? Because it's quite a long road to get into contention. I think we'll still make the finals. And as I said at the start of the year in my pre-season preview video, I thought the Cats would finish somewhere around 5 or 6, and it's kind of roughly where we are now. So if we keep travelling along at this sort of 50, 5 wins, 5 losses, if that sort of ratio continues throughout the rest of the year, I imagine we're still going to win more games than we lose between now and the end of this regular season. But are we going to win 90% of the games between now and then and finish top 4? I don't think it's going to happen, Cats fans. I'm sorry. If you want me to be a little bit more optimistic, I can't do it. I just can't do it. I'm not disappointed with the team. Don't get me wrong. I'm being a realist. I just think, and I think I've watched Geelong enough over the years to get a feeling that it's not doom and gloom. It's not the era's over, that kind of stuff. But we're not a top 4 force this year. And that's not because of the coaching. It's not because of some of the decisions we've made. We're fantastic in the off-season with who we've got in. We've just had a rotten run of luck. And it just continues on. And I guarantee you, the injury list came out, or the injury report that came out of the game against Freo, clean bill of health. But guarantee you there's 3 medium-term injuries. I guarantee you, I'd almost be willing to bet the house on it that someone is going to miss the next few weeks with an injury. So don't don't hold me to that. But if I'll be shocked if there's not one player that goes out of this team through an injury. I'll be absolutely shocked. I don't know, but it was a tough one. It was a dead set tough one. I don't know. I asked the fans how they're feeling at the moment. I'm feeling. I feel, as I said, I'm being a realist, so I'm not grumpy. I'm not angry at the club. Not angry at any particular players. Some of the more senior players are probably being asked to do too much at the moment, or at least in their heads, they're telling themselves, "Oh God, I've got 5 young blokes running out next to me. I've got to be twice as good as I normally am," and it's not working. They're not up to it. They're a year older than they were last year. The cohesion's not there. They're just not clicking. The young guys, I'm not going to blame the young guys. Some of them are actually playing really well, considering the level of Mitch Nevitt, Tanner Bruin. Like, they're playing well. I don't think you can blame the young guys. I just think it's, you've got a bunch of 20, 22, 23 guys that really aren't used to playing together, and is not the team that we would pick the best suits the system, the way we want to play to win premierships. But yeah, and I just feel like the older guys are probably trying too hard, and when they have a bad game, they're probably getting really frustrated with themselves. So I don't know, but yeah, the Twitter family, who I often go to after a loss, how are they feeling at the moment? Let's have a bit of a look at the frustration meter. So they're in the bothered phase. It's a little bit up from last week. They were in the okay phase. I would hazard a guess that we jump right into angry if we lose against GWS at home next week. I don't think we will. We'll come to that again a bit later on, but yeah, patience will only last so long. Even with all these injuries that we've got, I think we've been accustomed to winning games. But maybe that's a good thing, coming back home on the weekend, this coming weekend. The Cats fans will be angry, or be on the precipice of feeling those negative emotions, especially if things don't go too well in the first 1 or 2 quarters. You'd imagine the Cats fans would get up and about a little bit. Be nice to have a comfortable win, of course. I always like those ones. And GWS are not flying at the moment, but I don't know. Yeah, it's if we lose this one, I don't know what I'm gonna do. Let's have a look at Twitter, though. I'm just going to go through some tweets now. As we do every week on Twitter, we put the call out for some ticks and crosses. So, and there's a new whipping boy. Well, he's not really new. He's been the whipping boy for the last couple of weeks now. Brandon Parfitt. Ethan says his crosses were Parfitt, Segler, Stewart, Bruin cross, Cameron and Hunger, Ticks, Henry, Radigalea and Guernseys. Some more crosses for Ethan, Parfitt, Segler and Scott. So Parfitt keeps appearing on Ethan's crosses. I think we've figured out that he's not keen on Parfitt at the moment. I am surprised, Ethan, that you've put Bruin in the crosses there. I thought he was reasonable considering his experience as a player in the AFL system and as a Cats player in the Geelong system. So UCAT, who's a YouTuber who supports Freo, we had him on the Behind the Play during the week. He jumped in, cheeky bugger, and he says no crosses at all. So he's very happy with the result. Of course you are. Thank you very much. We're never getting him back on the show again. Ray Kell says terrible effort, even considering the outs. Now Ray, you mark him hard, don't you, Ray? You're probably like that bloke behind me that even when we're 100 points up, he's still having to go at us. So I'm joking, Ray, but. Yeah, no, you're entitled to your opinion. I just think, look, we are playing bad, but I think you're going to play bad. It's almost like exponentially crap. The more players you lose, the crappier you play, and then the more players you get back, the better. Yeah, maybe I haven't explained that too well. Dave says, not too bad for a side missing more than 100 games of experience, through injury, but need more from the mids who ride others' coattails. I don't know if they're riding the coattails. I think everyone's out there to do the best for their club and to do the best for themselves and represent the jumper as best they can. But maybe when we're winning, some of those deficiencies are hidden a little bit more, and everyone sees them in a much more positive light. So maybe that's where it's at. Trent Woodall says Woodall doubled in uncontested possessions and somehow lost the tackle count too. Now, if they don't highlight that, in any of the post-match or the the review side of things at the club, I'll be shocked. It was absolutely disgraceful that we will get done by 100-plus possessions and lost the tackle count as well. Normally, when you don't have the ball, you're generally tackling more, which is kind of a strange stat, that one. You kind of can't read into it too much. If someone gets 10 tackles, is that a good thing? Because maybe we haven't had enough of the ball. Do you want them to have more of the ball and less tackles? Interesting one to pull apart that stat. Maybe if I get a chance, I'll have a look at that one. But yeah, unforgivable that we lost the tackle count, considering we were minus 100 and something in the possessions. It was just terrible. And I'm sure the players would recognise that as being unforgivable and need to fix that up. I wouldn't be surprised if we absolutely smash some tackle records against GWS on the weekend. We better come out fighting hard. I tell you what, the crowd won't be happy. I won't be happy, and I'll be letting everybody know about it on this channel. If that happens, if we're not showing a bit of aggression. I don't care how old you are, how many games you played. Tackle. That needs written on your hand. Go to the tattoo shop around on Paco. Do whatever. Make sure you remember to tackle on the weekend. Tick says only one more loss before we win 4 on the trot. So Tim's feeling very confident that we're about to go on another winning streak. That seems to be the theme of 2023 streaks, whether they're winning streaks or losing streaks. The cats say Bruin improvement tick. Stengel and Henry returns tick. Defensive work by the midfield cross and missing basic set shots cross. I want to come back to the defensive work from the midfield. It's really, really messy, really sloppy. I don't want to come down too hard on our defenders. I think a lot of it is starting with the midfield at the moment. And again, we can keep making excuses, and I think it's fair to make these excuses at the moment because we're the second most injury-impacted club in the AFL right now, other than West Coast. But are we going to stand for that as a club? Do we accept that? I don't accept it. I hope the players don't accept it. I hope the coaches don't accept it. I don't care if you're a 10-game player. You're playing for the hoops. You shouldn't accept it. You should expect a higher standard of yourselves. And as I said, I'm not going to come down on them. I know they're trying their best, but if I get the sense, or if I see someone just not putting the effort in, which I hope I don't, I'll be coming down on you. If I see that, I haven't seen that yet. I just think unfortunately, it's just the players that are out and things just aren't clicking for us. Hopefully, it's not far away though. Hopefully, it's just a couple of little things, and all of a sudden, be like, oh, okay, that's working. Oh, there you go. Don't know if it's always the players coming back. Clearly it helps. And more games you get into these new guys, the better. It is a bit of a glimpse of the future as well, so that's not always a bad thing. You're not going to have the age profile that we always have. We're going to have to transition at some point in time. But we've got to do better in the midfield. We've got to defend better. The structure's just out of whack at the moment, and we've got to sort that out. Now, Jackie says, big tick for Sav. Yeah, I like Sav too. Tick for getting time into Mitch Nevitt, like that as well. Like the Freo and the Cats jumpers, me too, especially the Cats ones. I love that one. I think we'll probably wear the blue one next week as a home game. I think that'll clash reasonably well with GWS, who are orange and white predominantly. A little bit of grey charcoal in there as well. But big tick for the Axe. Needed some friends. Tom Atkins, if you're not familiar with that nickname. Pardon me. Crosses, pains me to say it, but Parf, another one that's not liking Parfitt at the moment, has not stood up in the 3 games that he's played since being back. And also, Jackie didn't like the TV coverage. Would be nice if you could see the game. Yeah, you might be talking about TV coverage on KO. We've got pretty strong internet now. We've just improved it a little bit, and it's just buffering all the time. It's just, I don't know what's going on. Fix it, KO. Joke. How much do you want to get paid to actually provide decent coverage? Maybe you're talking about the camera work, Jackie. Let me know in the comments if you are. Jan says, Jeremy Cross, what has happened to his kicking? Yeah, I'll talk about Jeremy now. I don't know if we were judging Jeremy too harshly. If he kicks 4 goals straight instead of 0 and 4, we talk about him very differently, but he missed a couple. One of them hit the post. Another one didn't miss by much. So I don't know. It can turn around. I mean, if he kicks 2 goals, Cats are probably in the game and maybe find a way to win it. The fact that he misses these goals and some other of his teammates missing some goals as well doesn't help, and it makes it really, really hard to win. He's not going to kick 4 goals straight every game he plays. He's going to have a bad one. I need to watch the tape again to see what he was doing around the rest of the ground. Clearly, he wasn't his dominant Brownlow winning best. Not that he's ever won a Brownlow, but they talk about him as a chance this year. He's lost his lead in the Coleman to Charlie Curnow after this week. And he hasn't kicked a goal against Freo the last 2 times. And we've lost the last 2 times against Freo. So, I don't know. I'm a bit nervous playing Freo again if we come up against them in the finals somewhere. If we finish 5th and they finish 8th or something like that. Or the other way around. Or 5th or 6th or whatever. You don't want to play Freo, I don't care where it is. And we won't even talk about that final we played them at home that year. Oh, my God. I'll stay on Jan's one. She's a couple more. She's got Tom Hawkins. Gets a big tick. Doesn't get many, but makes the most of it. Yeah, fair enough. Did miss an easy one there. Start of the last, but I'm not going to blame him for the loss. Thought he was probably our best player, to be honest. Jack Henry looks as though he hasn't missed a game. Yeah, he did, didn't he? Just came straight back in and looked fantastic up forward. A lot of talk about him throwing him back again. It's like, well, we weren't kicking enough. We only kicked 77 points. Maybe we wouldn't have leaked as many. I don't know. What's the answer? You rob Peter to pay Paul. I don't know what the answers are, but I think they're trying to get more games into Sav Radagalia. So if you can put Henry, if Sav can hold down a roll down back. And I thought Sav played pretty well as well. So, maybe you put all your best players in defence. That's great. But you still got to kick goals. So how are you going to kick goals? Jake, tick, except when he did that silly kick in the last quarter. Yeah, that was horrible. Tommy Atkins never gives up. Just got battered around a bit today. A couple more. Kyrie says, midfield getting smashed with no player over 20 disposals. Gee, have you ever seen that before for the Geelong? Probably have, but very, very rare. Segler, it's time for him to go. Poor old Segs. He's doing his best. He's just not at the level, and that's not a shot on him as a person. He's a battling AFL player near the end of his career. He's doing the best he can. He did some good things, did some shocking things. I want to separate the player from the person a little bit. I don't want to come down as a player, I don't like coming down on people too hard because it can get a bit personal. But yeah, he's in the side because of just injuries at the moment. So, but hopefully he'll find something. We all wanted him to put a bit more pressure on Stanley, and it hasn't happened. And so you get Stanley getting injured, and he's got a history of that as well. And there's zero ruck depth at the moment. And then you got your Toby Conways, who's hasn't played a game for the Cats, but was hoping to get maybe 10 games into him this year, and he just hasn't had the opportunity either, and was in the moon boot and all that. So what are you going to do? Crosses still on Kyrie. Crosses on Jezzo. Worst game in the hoops. Probably not far off that. Stewart had a stinker. Yeah, you could smell it from Geelong. It was horrible. Shut the door, use the toilet spray. A bit of Glen 20 on Tom Stewart. That was a horrible game. I'm sure he can take a bit of... I'm not really having a crack at him there. I'm just being a bit silly. Lack of effort in the fourth quarter when the game could have been won. Yeah, it's almost like we gave it up a bit. These away trips across the country, it gets too hard when you don't look like you're going to win. But and didn't like the Thunderstruck song that the Freo were using, the Freo media team or entertainment team were using. Didn't like that at all. A lot of people were saying they didn't like Thunderstruck from AC/DC being played. Anyway, one more. Two more. Do two more. Just Yvonne says the weather was perfect. Yeah, that's a good thing. Ground did look... not the ground. The surface looked horrible, but the stadium looked beautiful. Didn't like the sun in her eyes. Yeah, as a spectator watching on the telly, just Yvonne, I didn't like the in and out of the sun too much either. Another one who didn't like Thunderstruck. Jack Henry is back, big tick. Jezza had a stinker, trying to do too much. Yeah, as I said, a lot of players seem to be trying to do too much. They're spending all their energy plugging holes at the moment. It's unfortunately, yeah, trying to do too much themselves individually as well. So it's too much energy being spent in the wrong areas, and just things just look so easy when we've got the mix right, and we just don't have that mix right at the moment. Speaking of mixes, right, I tried to make cookies on the weekend and absolutely destroyed them. I won't be making cookies for a while. But something about baking, you've got to get that mix right. Forgot to press record for Tomahawk's set shot on goal, so that's across. Tomahawk's goal, tick. Atkins' determination, big tick. Tanner Bruin, big tick. And lots of Cat supporters at the game. So well done to all those Perth Cats that got to the game. I'm not sure if I've got any Perth Cats that watch this show, but I know of you guys, and if we ever get a chance to get down to get across the Nullarbor to Perth one day to watch a Cats game, I'd love to catch up for a beer. I think there's a pub nearby. A few people. I know Joel Sell was at a function or something like that near the stand. So anyway, so that's a bit of stuff on Twitter. Look, there's a lot of frustration for Parfitt. There's more there as well. I didn't cover everyone. I'll try to reply in the comments on Twitter if I can. But yeah, not a lot of love for Parfitt, the poor bugger. He's really lost his way, sadly. If I had a little bit more time, I'd probably go into that in a bit more depth. But I hope he turns it around. I was really hoping he'd play a good one in the Sir Doug Nicholls round, but yeah, didn't play. I don't think he was horrible. He's just probably like 20 of his other mates, just really didn't turn up. Not his worst game he's ever played, but we wanted him to turn it around. We wanted him to sort of say, okay, this is my spot. I've been given 3 chances to play in the senior side. He's not a Tom Hawkins. He's not going to get time to find his way. Well, he's been given 3 games. If not for injuries, he probably wouldn't be playing. And that's just the frustrating part. Like, you want your Cats boys to, and your girls, all players for the club, if they get opportunities, you want them to take it. And you get so frustrated when they don't. But I'm sure he's trying. And I hope if he gets a 4th chance, I hope he absolutely smashes it out of the park. I really, really do. I just don't feel like it's going to happen, and I think a lot of Cats fans are starting to get a bit frustrated. Hopefully, we keep things in check though, and don't come down on him too hard. But yeah. And look, if he goes back to the VFL, for goodness' sake, support him in the VFL. Support all the young guys and the old guys who are battling to make the side. We want the side to be as strong as possible. We don't get anything out of abusing the players. We want them to be good. So if we can give them support, maybe that 1% difference will get us over the line sometimes. Maybe, kicking them when they're down, I don't know if it always helps. So you got to call it as you see it, though. And I'm not going to shy away from that on the show. Clearly, Parfitt and Segler probably don't deserve to be in the team. But I'm not going to make it personal. I'm not going to kick them extra hard if I don't need to. So, all right. So, my votes. Who am I going to vote? I think I'm going to give Tommy Hawkins the 3 votes. I think he was pretty good. I think he's probably the only one. He probably would have had more if the midfielders were any better. He missed a shot towards the end there. He could have had 4 goals, possibly 5 if he had some more opportunities coming his way. And Jezza was functioning a little bit better, but it is what it is. I thought Tommy did pretty well. I didn't really think too many others were that fantastic. I'd probably give 2 votes to Tanner Bruin. I thought Tanner was okay. Did some good things. I'm just liking Tanner's form the last few weeks. I think he's playing really, really well. And I'm going to give 1 vote to Mark Blitzarves. Again, accuse me of having a bit of a thing for Blitz on this show. Maybe I do. But he does everything. He kicks goals, gets possessions, he tackles, he gets the hit-outs, he covers the ground. He's not the flashiest guy out there, but he does so much work for the Catters. And I just feel like sometimes as supporters we don't give him the credit that he's due. So, I'm giving him 1 vote. I think if you look at his stats, and it's not all his bad stats, it's the eye test as well. But some players look great when they've got the ball. But are you watching them when they haven't got the ball? Are you seeing the amount of effort and Ks they're putting in and what they're doing to their opponent? We probably don't always do that. So I think in Blitz's case, sometimes the stats mean a bit more than they do for someone else. So that's the only thing I'm going to say on that one. All right. So next week, let's talk about next week. We've got GWS. We've sort of touched on them a little bit, but we've got GWS back at home. Similar time, 4:35. It's another twilight game on the Saturday. I know if you're a local footy fan or you've got kids or you play footy yourself or any sport on Saturday, that's not going to suit you too much. You might get there for the second half or something like that. But, if you've got young kids, maybe that's a good thing. You get them home to bed at a reasonable hour. It's not a late one. So, look, I think we'll go okay. I'm hoping that we get Sam DeConning back. I think he's close to being back, I think. I'd like to get James Willis or Bruce a chance in the hoops. He was named as an emergency this week, so hopefully, and the VFL didn't play, so hopefully he'll either, well, the VFL team's playing this week, but hopefully if he's named as an emergency again, that maybe he's a chance for a debut again, possibly. So I think, it's hard. I don't think I've picked this exactly right all year, the ins and the outs, but I think if Sam DeConning comes back, I think Jonathan Segler makes way. And I think if they want to debut someone, then I think maybe Parfitt makes way, possibly, even though we really need people to tackle. I want to see a bit more. I want to see some opportunities as well. And if we are in that, not to say we're giving away season 2023, but I think we're at that stage where we also have to have a bit more of an eye on the future as well. I think that we can be all chips in on a premiership at a 5-5. I think we can do that right now. I think we have to, play the kids a little bit more, get some more games into them, get more, maybe that means giving more games to Ollie Dempsey still, who's really not probably showing out at the level just yet, not getting those opportunities, to be fair as well. More games into players like Cooper White. Have they already stamped his papers? Is he not up to the level? I don't know, but want to see more games into some of these young guys if we can. Keep Mitch Nevitt in the team. He's not done enough to kick him out. He takes some good marks. Just got to kick those goals, Mitch. But yeah, it's frustrating when we miss him. But what are you going to do? What are you going to do? Anyway, I haven't mentioned yet. We're nearly up to 750 subscribers on the channel. We're trying to get to 1,000 by the end of the year. So if you haven't already subscribed, please do so. Brad, we really need more subscribers so we can get Brad Close some sleeves, because he's desperately in need of some sleeves. There, aren't you, Brad? Thank you. All right, and if you are a Patreon member, and there are two of them at the moment, the two Jareds actually, we are looking for a third Patreon member. So if you are a Jared, or if you know a Jared that wants to be a Patreon member, we're exclusively looking for Jareds. No, but yes, we are. If you would like to follow us on Patreon, we have some extra content on there as well, some extra video content and some other things too. If you want to have a look at that, I think it's $5 a month. So if you want to sacrifice a coffee or a muffin or a burger. No, I've just lost my train of thought there. It would help. It would help the channel, and it would give us a bit of a pat on the back as well for what we're doing. And because we do, it does take a little while to prepare these shows. So all the support you can give us, it makes us feel good about keeping doing this stuff. So, but yeah, we love it either way. So thank you to all the Jareds, and if you are another Jared, please jump on board. Now, around the grounds, I do like to go around the grounds as we close out the show. The Port Power had a close win against Melbourne Demons. It was a good game, that one. I think it was two top teams going at it. Zach Butters absolutely killed it. He had 41 touches and a couple of goals. They're starting to talk about him as being another potential Brownlow. I don't think it's his year this year. I think there's a few others ahead of him still, but fantastic game. He couldn't do anything wrong, Zach Butters, apart from get a haircut. But yeah, no, I'm not picking on. I shouldn't pick on people. Have a look at my hair; it's terrible. Anyway, Sydney defeated North by 3 points. Another close one. Interchange breach. Oh my God. Name and shame. No, don't name and shame them. But you had one job, the interchange person, whoever you are, and you failed. You failed miserably, and you cost your club 4 points. And well, you might have gained a certain prospect. I think West Coast said, "Hold my beer," and didn't. And think no. But you're in the hunt for Harley Reid still, I guess, if that's what you were aiming for. But I'm sure you weren't doing that. I'm kidding. Clearly, I'm kidding. But anyway, doesn't do yourself any harm if that's what the plan was. The Bulldogs defeated Adelaide by 45 points. It's 5 straight wins for the Doggies and 7 out of 8. So they are coming. They are. I think we've got to start paying a bit more attention to the Doggies. They're under the radar at the moment because there's a lot of other teams. Shut up, Crow. There's a few other teams flying as well with consecutive wins, but you got to keep an eye on those Dogs. I did pick them for the top 4 at the start of the season. I think they're looking mighty good now. I think they've really found their groove, and they'll be one to watch out for. And I'll be very nervous when we come up against them pretty soon, whenever that is. I'm not sure when that is. But yeah, I'll be worried about that one. Brisbane defeated the Gold Coast Suns. Shocker. The Gold Coast Suns just can't beat Brisbane. They've lost 9 straight to them. Bloody hopeless. Get rid of the Q clash. It means nothing. If it was a decent rivalry, fair enough, but whatever. Brisbane's gone on to win 7 straight now, so, they must be one of the premiership favourites. Almost guaranteed top 4, really. There's not many teams that win 7 straight that don't finish top 4. It's pretty hard to win 7 straight games. I think we've seen that Brisbane, I'm not saying they're going to win the whole thing, but to me, they've proven they're a top 4 team, and I think that's where they'll finish at some stage when the season's all said and done. Essendon defeated Richmond by 1 point. Thank you very much. Sam Durham with the goal to put him in front, the go-ahead goal with 7 seconds left. How good is it seeing Richmond lose? It's always nice. And I think, to be fair, I don't think Essendon's beaten Richmond much in recent years, so good on Essendon to keep themselves in the hunt for the finals. It's going to be very hard from here on in for Essendon. Who knows? I still might be right with my wild prediction at the start of the year. They're not done yet. The season's not over, Essendon. So as long as there is hope, we shall see. Hey, we shall see. And now Hawthorn, I talked about this earlier, defeated West Coast, and surely Hawthorn are the raging hot premiership favourites now in 2023 after beating West Coast. No, clearly I'm kidding. West Coast. Have you seen a more worse team than other than the Fitzroy Lions way back when? Poor West Coast, all these injuries. But I don't know what they're going to do. I'm a bit worried about their coach, Adam Simpson. I don't reckon he's got long to go. I don't know how you can blame him. It's not. I think, is it the medical team? I don't know. It's just they had another injury. Jermaine Jones, former Cat, went down as well, so he looks like he's out for a few weeks now. What do you have to do? Anyway, moving on. Collingwood defeated Carlton again. Carlton's season goes from bad to worse, and the fans just get absolutely bonkers, and don't we love to see it? God, I love it when they go nuts. Vossi. You haven't got much longer to go, mate. I think you're nearly out the door as well. Carlton just keep repeating the same mistakes year after year after year. So he'll be the next coach to go. Who are they going to bring in? I don't know. Probably Brett Ratton or something like that again. He's already had a shot at them, hasn't he? I think. Someone else. Anyone else. Yeah, maybe they'll bring Ratton back again. Give him another crack at it. Who knows? They did. Ross Lyon had another chance at St Kilda, so maybe they'll give Ratton another go at Carlton. Maybe Vossi can turn it around. I'm not writing Carlton off yet. I still think Carlton will play finals, believe it or not, and I do enjoy having a laugh at them. And I'm sure people like having a laugh when Geelong lose too. But I think Carlton will still probably play finals. I think they'll find something soon and start winning some games, putting some games together. I think that'll be nice for their supporters to get a bit of joy back into the footy, especially as we go into the colder months of the year when it can get very miserable. The last game of the round was St Kilda and GWS, the Saints getting the jobs done by 12 points, a couple of goals. The return of the King, Max King, comes back, kicks 4 goals. So well done to him. It's been a long road back for him. It seems him and his brother, one of them always seems to be injured at the moment. But hopefully those two boys can get a good run at it moving forward. In other news, the VFL men's team had a bye round, so there's nothing to talk about there. But good on the VFL women's team, had another win. I think we're still top of the ladder in the VFL women, so if you ever get an opportunity to head down, I think we'd be playing locally down in Geelong next weekend. So usually they play at the Deakin University footy ground there, so just walk up if you want to watch them for an hour, 2 hours. Hopefully the weather's reasonably nice. Sit on the hill, put a blanket down, grab a coffee. It's good fun. And the girls are always really friendly, so try and get along and support them if you are in the area and if you've got some time to kill. Hopefully, the weather gods are nice to us and we get a chance, but well done to them. Got the job done against Essendon on the weekend by 2 points in a close one. All right, that'll do, I think, for another episode. Have I covered everything? Probably not. As I've said before, it is so much harder doing these shows one-on-one. what I do is I find I lose my train of thought sometimes because I'm just talking to a little light on the screen. I much prefer to talk to a person. It's a whole different experience. So apologies if you're not a fan of the solo shows. I'm not a fan of them either. I much prefer to have a panel to discuss things with. But it is what it is, and we talk cats regardless, no matter what. So, but anyway. Thanks again to everyone for watching in. Don't forget to like, don't forget to comment and subscribe and all that stuff. If you comment down below and you like the video, it really does help with YouTube. YouTube sort of recommends it to other people and things like that. So a simple click of the like button, it does wonders for the show. We might go from having 300 viewers to 600 viewers. So just use that little finger there, click, done. Let me know what you're thinking in the chat. Let me know what you think about how the cat's going. Let me know how you think about how our show's going. It's an evolving thing, and I'm learning in my role as well. And I always welcome all your feedback too. So, and don't forget to engage with this on the socials. We're on Twitter a heap, and we're on Instagram, and trying to do our thing on TikTok every now and then as well. But we're still working into that space and trying to wrap our head around it a little bit. But anyway, stay Geelong strong, everyone. And as we always say, go Cats.